Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, once again, folks, we have another dire warning coming from someone of fairly good stature, I guess you could say. Someone that actually knows a lot more than what I would know about the economy and money and all that kind of stuff, mostly because of the position of power that they're in. It's interesting through all of this, or through a lot of this that we've been going through, the two groups of people that have been sending out the biggest warnings, warning people to, hey, you need to stock up. Hey, you need to get ready. Hey, you need to brace yourself for what's coming because there's a big collapse. There's a big change coming. Are folks like myself as preppers and stuff, and then people in high places of power. It's interesting. While all the rest of the masses just kind of, it'll be okay. Let's just watch some more sports and see what the Kardashians are doing. Folks, this is something serious, and I want to get into it because there is a pattern here that I want to show you of people in powerful positions just in the last few months letting us all know, and very specifically people in the banking industry. These banksters, these corporate banksters, they've been kind of letting everyone know for a while that we need to start getting ready. We need to brace ourselves. Things are getting bad. And just yesterday, Jamie Dimon, who is the CEO of JP Chase, which is one of the big ones, was sending out a warning in again. And he, in his statement, he was saying that he had been telling his people, his shareholders and stuff, that there was a storm coming. He said, I'm going to change that. It's not just a storm. It is a hurricane. It is a huge hurricane, and it is coming right at us. And to brace yourselves for it. It's kind of interesting because just 2 days ago, I released a video called The Perfect Storm is Upon Us, or A Perfect Storm is Upon Us. And I described it in much the same way, that we can now see this. We've known it's been building out there somewhere, but now it's cresting the horizon. We're seeing it come at us. It's on its way, and there's still a lot of people that are ignoring it. Folks, listen to this clip here. This is him explaining it, and we'll get on to some more because I have a lot more to talk about with this, but I want to play you this clip. This is the CEO of JP Chase. Here we go.
It's a hurricane. Right now it's kind of sunny. Things are doing fine. Everyone thinks the Fed can handle this. That hurricane is right out there down the road coming our way. We just don't know if it's a minor one or Superstorm Sandy, or Sandy or Andrew or something like that. And it's you better brace yourself.
I mean, he's flat out letting you know. He's letting you know, folks, that it's going to get bad. It may get somewhat bad, or it may get a lot bad. But either way, it's going to get bad. And you need to brace yourself. And again, this is not the first time we've heard this. This has been happening now, going back really all the way to the first of the year that we started hearing these people in very important positions, these banking cartel leaders, telling us, letting us know, warning us what they're doing, okay? We're crashing the system, folks. I mean, that's not what they're saying, but we're crashing the economy, and you need to get ready for it. It's all coming to an end, okay? It's at the end of days. And again, this is not the first time we've been hearing this. There are several articles going back for a while. Here's one from the Bank of America. Bank of America is doing the same thing. They're the biggest big boys, okay? You've got Bank of America, you've got Wells Fargo, and you've got JP Chase. Three biggest players in the United States when it comes to the banking cartel, next to the Fed. And they're warning. Wells Fargo just a few days back was saying the same thing, that a serious hard recession is coming. It's happening, and we need to get ready for it. Again, Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan, was telling his people. Now, I want to hold on, time out. I got to pause, because a lot of you might be saying, oh, wait a minute. If these guys are kind of the bad guys, if they're part of the banking cartel to take all of our money, then why are they warning us? Well, number one, most of these articles that you go and you find where it says the CEO issues this warning, they're not usually where they're actually warning us. It's not like, they issued a press release for the American population to say, hey, Americans, wake up. Usually these warnings are at their shareholders meetings. They're warning their shareholders, which a lot of times are public meetings, or at least the information goes public. So maybe not every time, but a lot of these instances where you see the CEO of such and such bank is warning about rising gas prices or inflation, or it's not so much that they're warning you and I. They're warning their own shareholders to brace themselves. But sometimes through interviews and stuff, they are saying it to everyone. But anyways, back to J.P. Morgan Chase, the CEO also said he estimates that people have 6 to 9 months, 6 to 9 months to get your money in order, to get your house in order, to get your food and everything. And that's actually pretty close to what I have been saying, and a few others. I'm not on here going, yay, Travis, you were right, because that's not it. A lot of us in the prepping world, we're all kind of seeing the same thing. And many of us have been saying by like this fall, which is approximately 6 months away, I would say starting about August, September, which is what I've been saying, that it's going to start feeling really bad. Like it's going to start hurting. It's hurting now. My wife and I went and bought some groceries this morning, and we didn't go and buy like the big grocery shopping. It was just some things that, we hadn't gone in a while, and we've been busy with the expo and all that. So we went and bought, and we were blown away by the prices. And we're talking prices from what they were the last time we went shopping. I mean, there were items that had almost doubled in price since the last time we'd purchased them, maybe a month or so ago. And then other things, they were just couldn't find them. But we've been saying that by August, September, it's going to start hurting. By this fall, it's going to start getting pretty bad. And then into next year, Lord help us, it's going to get pretty bad. And so here again, we have the CEO of J.P. Morgan saying, you've got about 6 to 9 months to get ready. And I would agree with that, with one exception. We don't know what's going to happen between now and 6 to 9 months. Okay. And as we have seen over the past 24 months or more, it's just like almost every week or every few weeks, something big happens that's kind of catastrophic, that kind of rocks the world or rocks the economy or the supply chain, and it causes things to speed up, the worsening to speed up. So we don't know over the next 6 to 9 months what's going to happen. But I would say, as it stands right now, I would agree with that. We've got about 6 to 9 months before it starts getting seriously bad. So I'm saying this not to say, well, you've got 6 to 9 months, don't worry about it. Go out there and start getting your stuff in about 5.5 months. Don't do that. It just means that you have that much time to really get yourselves prepared. But it could happen really bad something tomorrow. Anyway, so he's saying 6 to 9 months to get ourselves ready. But again, we've got J.P. Morgan Chase, we've got Bank of America, and we've got Wells Fargo. Those are the 3 big boys, okay? That's the 3 big boys here in the United States. But it's not just here in the United States. I reported on this a couple of weeks back or so. The Bank of England, the head governor of the Bank of England, is doing the same thing. He's warning that it's about to get real, folks. The duty is about to hit the fan, okay? Get yourselves ready. Now, for any of you that have been, into the whole, in the Fed and all that kind of stuff for a while, you'll know that the Bank of England is one of the big ones, if not the biggest one. They are at the core of the banking cartel problem. And so when you've got the governor of the Bank of England sending out this warning, it's probably something you should listen to. Now, again, a lot of you might be saying, well, why would these people be warning us? Well, it's kind of like their little code of conduct. It doesn't mean that they have a moral standard, at least not what you and I would, recognize as a moral standard. But this banking cartel, these world leaders, these globalists, they're kind of like the mafia. And as everyone knows, the mafia has its own code of conduct, okay? They do lots and lots of bad things, but they still have a code of conduct. And so do these people. And it's very common, it's very typical for them to let the world know what's about to happen. They kind of let the cat out of the bag. And I believe that's what's going on here. We're seeing repeated times over the last few months, over and over again, saying the same thing. It's not just the banks, though. It's also companies like BlackRock. BlackRock is, well, they're about the biggest. BlackRock, Vanguard. BlackRock controls about $10 trillion in assets. And to put that in comparison, JP Morgan, big bank, they control about 3 trillion in assets. So we're talking 3+ times what JP Morgan, that's BlackRock. And BlackRock, they're the ones going around buying up all your houses and everything. They're big, right? I mean, they're extremely powerful and controlling. The head of BlackRock, just a couple of months back, said pretty much the same thing. He said, brace yourselves, you better buckle up. Okay, you better buckle up because it's about to get bad. He said this young generation, he said they've never experienced anything bad. These millennials they've never experienced anything bad. Everything's always been pretty good for them. It's always been handed to them. He said, and it's going to get bad. He says they're not going to know how to handle themselves because what they've been used to for their whole lives, it's all going to change. And he was warning, wake up. Now, it's interesting that all this is happening because you can go all the way back pretty much to the first of the year and find something that I talked about back then. And this guy was pretty much right. Now, this guy here, I'm going to show you a clip. And he was on, I can't remember whose podcast or some interview. But anyways, this guy is a former executive for BlackRock. He's kind of a, I don't know, whistleblower, you might say. He left BlackRock, formed his own firm, but he's kind of been anti this and anti-globalism and all that kind of stuff and kind of spilling the beans. And here's an interview where he's basically letting everybody know that we are at the end of days. And what you hear here in just a second, he's talking about global economy. He's talking about the global economy collapsing. Like it's collapsing down to nothing. Dollar value down to nothing. Everything collapsing, okay? Listen to this clip here.
Bubble is at its peak, and it's becoming apparent, given what's going on across the globe, that we're at the end. And due to that fact, we're going to see lots of crazy things in the financial markets. I think we're going to see the credit markets become unhinged, the equity markets become unhinged. The Fed got a reprieve from COVID when they were able to, at the cover of COVID, print 65% more money to keep this thing afloat. But we're at the end days here. And a lot of what you're seeing in the response from global governments is what I believe is setting up a system to, under the guise of medical tyranny, to prevent the riots that are going to ensue once this thing all unwinds. That's my personal belief, and I watch what people do, know what they say.
I believe what this guy was talking about 4 or 5 months ago. I think maybe this was back in February. I think that's what we're starting to experience right now. I mean, gas prices are higher than they've ever been. And JP Morgan, again, is saying that by August, they'll be at least $6.20. And other people are saying it could be more. By the end of the year, they could be $8 to $10 a gallon. Can you imagine paying that? USDA has redone their projections for food inflation coming this fall, and it doesn't look good. They're talking about the inflation numbers on food by this fall being double what they are right now. Not double what they are compared to last year or the year before. Based on food prices right now, the inflation of food right now, they're expecting it to be double that by this fall. In fact, people are saying that we could be seeing eggs as expensive as $1 an egg, $10 to $12 a dozen for eggs, folks. We're seeing shortages starting to be on the horizon. We're already seeing it in some aspects, but we're talking much worsening shortages that are real, shortages that hurt, that are affecting food because it's an ingredient in lots of foods, wheat and corn and sugar and now eggs and chicken. These are very common ingredients in a lot of food. And when they become in short supply or they skyrocket in price, It's going to make lots and lots of the food that you eat a lot more expensive. It could make them hard to come by. I mean, we're looking at already about 38 million chickens have been killed in the United States because of this bird flu. And just a few days ago, an eggplant caught fire and burned, and there were thousands and thousands of chickens that died in that. There's recalls of food constantly, buildings and food plants spontaneously bursting into flames. There's rail cars, you know, colliding and derailing all over the place. It's happening all over, folks. There was a fertilizer plant explosion, I believe, in India or somewhere over in that part of the world just a few days ago. We're seeing a pattern here. Now, is every one of these situations, are they all controlled and manipulated? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But we're seeing a pattern form between weather-related incidences, like drought. We're seeing shortages in fertilizer. We're seeing, shortages in the supply chain and labor and parts and fuel. And we're seeing countries, shut down exports. It's all coming to a head. And just like the CEO of JP Morgan said yesterday, like I said 2 days ago, there is a huge storm, folks. It's a huge storm. Do we know exactly how bad it'll be? No, we don't. It could be absolutely catastrophic. It could knock us back to, something like Venezuela. It could be more like 1970s. It could be more like the 1930s. We don't really know yet because there's all kinds of other factors going on. We've got wars. We've got just the social unrest of division in this country between races and genders and religion and ideology. So you've got all these different aspects affecting the economic and the supply chain. So we don't really know how it's going to turn out. But I think it's pretty safe to say, on all accounts, it's not going to be good. So folks, get ready. Don't just believe me. And if you don't believe me, you might say, well, you don't know what you're talking about. Maybe I don't. I'm nothing special. Okay? There's nothing special. But when we're talking about CEOs of the largest financial institutions on the planet, and they're repeatedly warning people, saying, hey, get ready, stock up, take care of your finances, get your things in order, folks, because a major collapse, a major crash, a major downturn is right over the horizon. You should probably stop and listen. So folks, get things stocked up. You can still get stuff. Prices have gone up, but a lot of your bulk staples are fairly close to being the same price. You can still get rice, wheat, beans, oats, pastas, things like that, canned foods. Get them stocked up, get your gardens out, plant. That's what we've been doing all week. And we've been planting. I've been putting out more than I've ever put out before. And as soon as I get off here, well, not today, but this probably Sunday, we'll be expanding again. We're going to put out as much as we possibly can. Because we just don't know how bad it'll be. And it's better to have the ark built before the rain starts falling than wait until the drizzle starts coming in to start building your big boat. Folks, get your houses in order. Prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and especially spiritually. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.